Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Grumman Pilot's YouTube channel. And this morning we're going to show you how to take some shadow foam. It's made by Kaizen. It's available in a bunch of different colors: black and yellow, black and red, black and white, black and black. But you can take the shadow foam and you can put it in a toolbox for tools. But we were looking for small organized parts, such as radio RF adapters and other small parts you might have. So that's what the shadow foam looks like when you cut it to the size that you're going to need, but it might be thicker than you actually want. So stay tuned for some more fun. So we would like to ask you, please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notify to stay current with our content. Now you can take shadow foam and you can take a bread knife that's serrated and you can cut it to the thickness that you need. You notice that it's just, don't cut it straight and you'll get something that looks like that. But anyway, that's how you can shave it. You can see it has a number of different layers that are glued together. They don't pull apart very easily, but a knife does cut them quite nicely. And you don't make a whole lot of debris when you're cutting with the knife. So it's not hard to do. You just want to be careful and take your time. Now, once you get it all in there, you can decide, does it sit far enough down in the box to leave you some clearance for things to stick out the top so that you can still grab them and the lid's still shut? Now, we first started off using a bit. We thought, oh, good, because you can cut it with a bandsaw. We'll just drill a hole. Well, the drill shredded the material, made a lot of mess, and we ended up having to work another system out for cutting the holes in, and we ended up using a Kaizen thin-bladed knife. But anyway, here's the box after we took the knife and we used a straight edge. So you can indent down into it, and then you can lay anything you want in there, whether it's an adapter or a piece of wire. So here are all the adapters that we had to work with, a total of 38 all that we were going to be putting in there. Now let's talk a little bit about the knife. Now, once you have a couple of pieces, you can see all the different layers in there. It's almost like a sedimentary rock, but they're all very equal and everything. And now you can take that little Kaizen knife, and we'll talk more about it in a minute. It is very sharp. It is very brittle, so be very careful around your fingers with it. But it does cut through the foam very nicely, and then you'll reach in and pull out the plug that you just cut, breaking it loose from the lower level. Now, you can trim it up to make it look a little bit nicer, but once the adapter's in there, it's not kind of fit. Now you can look at it on the side, and you can see all the different layers that you have to work with. And you can see a little bit of the light coming through it, and you get to see the yellow on the backside. Now that's the Kaizen thin-bladed knife. Now that blade is very sharp, and you can use it for a wide variety of things. We find they're useful for a wide number of things. We don't put it out that far when we're using it. And then there are a number of different tools that you can do with it. Let me caution you, when you buy the knife, buy spare blades. Buy a couple of packs. The blade breaker is nice, as well as are the long tip markers. Now the blade breaker, you want to break in there because when it snaps off the blade after you've nicked it, it will want to rattle around. You won't want to send it flying across the shop or anything like that. Now for the marking tools, these are very nice. They're long nosed, very thin, so they can get into a tight spot. We have one in silver and we have one in black. Stay tuned. So as you can see, they have a very long nose on them and a very sharp tip, so they can get in tight spots and mark around small parts, and they can shred that right onto the black so that when you have an edge to cut with that sharp knife, give you an outline. And as you can see, be sure to buy some extra blades. They come in packs of 10. We bought a couple extra packs. We bought a lot for the shop because we use this knife white, one of Matt's favorite tools, and we store them all in a cigar box. By the way, we're using a cigar box here. The blade breaker, again, is something that doesn't cost very much. It does have a belt clip or a ring clip, but we just use it right then and there. And then here's a close-up of the length of the knife and everything, so you can kind of get a feel for it. It is a good sturdy blade, and it does have some serrated marks for breaking it. Makes it nice and easy. Now, these are some of the RF adapters, and just kind of give you a feel for the radio of how thick they have to be. And then here's the whole thing when it's all finished after everything's been cut into place and put in there. So now you can see that it doesn't take very long for you to get all that stuff good and organized. Now with the Kaizen, we actually took another smaller cigar box, and here's an idea of using a serrated knife to cut it, and you can get a lot of control over it and shave off just what you need. So it's a very easy material to work with. It doesn't take but just a couple of minutes. It cost about $10 a square foot. It's sold in 2-foot by 4-foot sheets. So we took this plastic with a lidded cigar box, and we're going to take this little piece of Kaizen, we're going to cut it to size, and then we're going to shave it to thickness, and we're going to put a set of small Type N and PL259 adapters right in that box so that we have a way to organize them if we ever go out in the field and work on the radios. So anyway, there you go. It kind of gives you an idea for what it all looks like. Now, the Kaizen foam itself is, again, it doesn't take a lot of pressure, and what I normally do is I don't put but a tiny bit of downward pressure on the blade, and I just let the knife work its way through as I'm doing the motion back and forth like a reciprocating saw, and that's what I have found to be the easiest to get all that shaved with. And here you can see the piece of foam. Now it just snugs right into it. You can push it down. Now it is compressible, but not enough to make any difference in height, which is why you need to shave it. Now we're checking the layout of the 5 connectors on the piece, making sure we'll have enough clearance on all 4 sides so we don't have any really thin material that might break off and later cause a problem. We just want to have a good cushion around the side to protect these Type N connectors. They are 50 ohms all the way through, and if you do any radio work, you're familiar with these. You don't use them on everything, but when you need them, you want to have a couple in a box. So there we go. We've got them all in the final layout where we had enough room on all the edges to get them in place, and there you can see the knife and how accurately you can shave off a piece to get it all in there. So there they are in the box with the lid closing. So the lid snaps shut and it locks down a little bit. So now we have a good easy container, and you saw the bigger one. It doesn't take long to make these, but it does help you organize all your small bits. So ladies and gentlemen, we hope you found all this useful and informative about using the Shadowfoam and the tools. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope you have a good day flying your Grumman. Thanks for watching. And here are the cats on the back porch just watching the birds.